Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Bienvenidos a mi canal. ¿Cómo están todos? Today's wonderful makeup, as you can see, is full of beautiful, bold, and very bright shades. This is going to be a Coachella Inspired Makeup tutorial. For those of you going to Coachella número 2, this one is for you. For the first step, I'm using Primer Oil from SMASHBOX Cosmetics, and I'm just going to work that in with the damp sponge by Real Techniques. After I work that primer in, I make sure I go in with my moisturizer, and the reason why I put my primer before my moisturizer is because I want my primer to hold everything down, including her moisture. Because she has a little bit of texture on her skin, I want to make sure that the skin is as smooth as possible for as long as possible. Lastly, I went in with the Pore Minimizing Primer, targeted only on the cheeks. Keep in mind your combinations, people. When it comes to skin regimen, make sure that you have a primer that is not too drying, or else it can kind of mess with the texture of your products along the way. So just make sure your combinations work very well. So for the eyes, I'm going to start with Painterly Pro Longwear Paint Pod. This is a 24-hour base. It works great, and it's more of a nude pinky beige color. So I'm going to use that over Juanita's eyelid with the 217 blending brush from MUAH Cosmetics as well. With the eyeshadow base, I'm using a really nice light hand to just buff it out and melt it into the skin. We don't want any hard edges, especially with an eyeshadow base, because it can show through your work. For our first color, I'm using a matte eyeshadow in the color Goldenrod, and this is by MUAH Cosmetics with a 221 blending brush. So we're going for a banging yellow. I want this to be a very bold golden crease. So I'm just going to focus some time on it, really target a lot of my color right in the corner of the eye, and then very softly buff out through the center. And then I'm going to buff out with a bigger, clean 224 blending brush just to make sure everything's really nice and blended. So for the eyelid, I'm using HC Cosmetics in the yellow chrome base. This is a beautiful canary yellow base. It's really nice and opaque, and it's waterproof, so I'm going to lay that over the eyelid and then top it off with this eyeshadow, Bright Sunshine by MUAH Cosmetics. To lay down these products, I'm using the number 252 from MUAH Cosmetics. This brush is a little firmer, so it helps with blending out any drying products, and it makes it just a little bit easier. So after the base is blended out, I'm topping it off with Bright Sunshine eyeshadow, and this has a beautiful frost over it, so you'll start to see the eyelid pop a little bit, and that's exactly what we want. For my final color, I'm using Orange Matte Eyeshadow by MUAH Cosmetics with the blending brush in the number 221. And I'm going to keep that more targeted towards the corner of the eye because I want that beautiful sunset crease. For the eyeliner, I use Electro Sky Paint Pod. This is an eyeshadow base, so just an idea. If you're ever bored with your makeup, easy way of injecting a little bit of color into your life, adding a little pop, is just using an eyeshadow base as an eyeliner. Pretty cool trick. And the brush of choice is the 263 by MUAH Cosmetics. Standard routine, mascara always before fake eyelashes. This one is Perversion by Urban Decay. The goopy end of the mascara wand I love to use in the corner of the eye, the outer corner. I just put it into the lash line right at the root and I work it all the way through. It offers a lot of lift and a good solid lash to work with. I'm using lashes in a box in the style number 13. I actually used this one pair of lash and I just cut it in half and use it on either end of her eyeball. Any style lash that has a fuller center, you're able to do that, so just a little heads up. To hinder the lash line, I'm using waterproof cream color in color Jet from Anastasia Beverly Hills. And the brush is actually a cheapy little brush I got from the Michaels craft store, so yes. Stead eyebrow pencil for the eyebrows, and this is by MUAH Cosmetics. So I'm starting at the arch of the brow, which is the most important part of the brow personally, and I'm just using really light sketching techniques throughout the brow, going in the direction where the hair grows, not against it, so it doesn't trap any color into the hair. And I always make sure I step away, making sure that my brow is really nice and solid where I need it to be and really soft in the areas that I want it to be. Here I am winging out the color with the angle brush, and I'm just moving around the color to make sure I could fill in with what I already have, and then I slowly add more color if needed. It's a revolution. When doing the inside or the start of the brow, I make sure I stamp and then work upwards, so it's a really soft technique. You want to make sure you have a light hand. Then I top it off with a waterproof brow set from MUAH Cosmetics just to make sure I groom her brow and it's all pointing in the right direction. So now I'm going to clean up the eyebrow with some foundation. You can also use foundation or concealer. I'm using a flat brush. This is the 242 from MUAH Cosmetics. And this is a great trick to make the eyebrow stand out, make it look cleaner, more defined, and also a great trick if you are going through an eyebrow grow out stage. Trust me, I know how horrendous and hairy you feel, so try this out. You never know, it might work. I'm using the Peach Luster color correcting pen, and this is by MUAH Cosmetics. This is a great product. I love it because it's really easy to blend, but it actually dries to a matte. You want to make sure that you work being time conscious because it does dry, so I made sure I laid down my product and then immediately blend it out. Once my orange corrector is all blended, I'm using foundations in C5 and NC42 Studio Fix Fluid by MUAH Cosmetics, and then that just gave me the perfect combination for her skin tone. I'm blending that out with both Real Techniques sponge and a Real Techniques brush. Next, I'm going to use Kat Von D's Lock-It Concealer in M26, and I'm blending that out with a brush as well as a Real Techniques sponge. For some extra coverage, I'm blending the foundation, the concealer together with a sponge and just dabbing over the areas that I feel still peek through. Once the skin is blended to perfection, I'm now going in with the Laura Mercier translucent powder, and I'm just going to lightly target it more underneath the eye, doing like a lightweight baking. Not too much of that because I don't want to dry up all of the emollients that I've built up to this point. So be very wary about how much you bake because it will soak up every single ounce of oil and hydration. So just be careful about that. Then I'm going to move it around with the setting brush from All Techniques, really lightly setting the rest of her face. For the cheeks, I use Warm Soul and Dolly Mix Blush blended together. The brush I'm using is the 116 from MAC Cosmetics. Next, I'm going to use Kat Von D's contour palette in Shade and Light, and just going to add a little bit of a sun-kissed effect to her nose because, duh, we're at Coachella, so this will give us a little bit of a bronze effect. To top off the eyes, I'm going back in with Bright Sunshine eyeshadow, and I'm just going to add a little bit to the tear duct and brighten up her eye. For her lips, I'm using NYX Butter Gloss in Praline, and I love this gloss. It's a natural mauve lip color, and it just blends so perfectly in with Juanita's natural lip shade. Since we have so much going on the eyes, I really wanted to keep it nice and simple on the lips. And that is it, folks. This is our Coachella Inspired Makeup. I hope you guys enjoyed every single step of it. If you guys are at Coachella, have fun, be safe, and if you love this, like and subscribe. See you guys later. It's a revolution.